Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Club Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to another Liverpool news episode for you guys today. And of course, it has been a big day in terms of outgoings for Liverpool Football Club. And yes, we are going to be discussing Fabinho. And of course, there has been a bid accepted, according to reports. Anyway, of course, Fabinho does look like he's on his way to Saudi Arabia. Excuse me, chat. Of course, but yeah, it does look like Fabinho is officially off to Saudi Arabia. Of course, obviously we'll dive all into the news and the gossip, of course, and who could potentially replace Fabinho. Of course, there has been names floating about on social media all day. Of course, with the news this morning, but of course, we'll take a look at it all in this video anyway. But again, guys, let me know all of you are in the comments down below as well. Of course, if you're new around here, of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, guys. Very much appreciated as always. Anyway, but let's get straight into the chat. Anything Rex says, "What's up, everyone? Sad to see Fabinho go. I'd like to see Florentino Luis and Lavia as our replacements for him, but I see Klopp wanting experience, so that makes me think he will go for Amrabat instead." Again, obviously, there is two or three names there that has been linked over the last 24 hours. Of course, with Liverpool in the DM position as well. Throw in Colwell, and then we are set for the season as well. I'd love that, but unfortunately, it looks like Chelsea are not going to sell, unfortunately, this time round anyway. And Traps in as well, saying yo as well. Of course, guys, like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below as well. Of course, I want to know all of your guys' thoughts and interactions, of course, in the comments as well. And also, if you could share out the video, guys, very much appreciated as always. Anyway, let me just quickly check something, make sure nothing's breaking, because normally it always happens. You guys know it always breaks whenever we go live at 9 anyway. But of course, if you guys haven't seen the news, anyway, of course, now, this, of course, today Liverpool travelled out to Germany to start officially their pre-season away from Liverpool, of course, and Fabinho has been left out of the Liverpool squad for a tour of Germany after the £40 million bid from Al-lttihad. Jordan Henderson travels, of course, that is from Paul Joyce. Of course, Neil Jones also echoing those words, saying Fabinho has not travelled to Germany for Liverpool's pre-season training camp after Al-Haleti submitted an official £40 million bid for the midfielder. Deal expected to be done. Of course, Jordan Henderson is part of the 32-man squad as well. Of course, James Pearce also adding to it as well, saying that a decision to leave Fabinho out of training camp taken last night after £40 million offer received from Al Haleti. The Brazilian international is expected to move on. Henderson has travelled to Germany as decision over his future continues as well. So again, Liverpool only received the bid late last night. Of course, I think Neil Jones said something on goal, saying that again something was going to happen very late in the night, or of course, well, tomorrow morning, which is of course today. In that regard as well. And again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on £40 million for Fabinho. I think look, it's an absolute. Well, it's an absolute steal to begin with for Liverpool. I think that the fact that we've been able to get 40 million back off Fabinho is, I think, something pretty darn good by the transfer committee in that regards as well. Of course, we practically sold him for what we bought him for, and that's of course 5 years ago. And I think the big thing with Fabinho as well is, and I think that the big question I think for everyone is, was last season the start of a permanent decline, or was it maybe just one of those seasons where it just was a bad year? And I think it is one of those things where I think that realistically, I think look, pretty much Liverpool should sell for 40 million. I think they'd be dumb enough not to sell for that, personally, but of course, everything does look like to be confirmed and ready to go. Fabinho, of course, has already agreed personal terms as well. And of course, it is now just medical base things, of course, as of things right now anyway. But of course, reading more further into the news, of course, again, we spoke about, of course, replacements for Fabinho. Of course, James Pierce adding to this point as well, saying in terms of replacing Fabinho, Moises Caicedo is not viewed as a serious option with the Brighton midfielder expected to join Chelsea. Romeo Lavia, Sofiane Amrabat, Ryan Gravenberch, and Calvin Phillips are among those under consideration. Now, I'm not going to lie, chat, and I think all of you will be in agreement with this. When I saw those names this morning, I thought, what on earth? Like, I did genuinely think, again, obviously Lavia is one that Liverpool have been massively interested in all summer long, and of course the whole story. I think we've covered Lavia, but again, I think for the last 2-3 months now, and I think it's the case of now. Of course, he is the one out there in the media. Could be a smoke screen, of course, but again, when we talk about Sofiane Amrabat was talked about in January. Um, what else? Who else was there? Of course, you've got Ryan Gravenberch as well that was dismissed as a Liverpool target back within a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and Calvin Phillips as well. Again, a very, very unrealistic target. Again, we're not going to buy him out of Manchester City. I don't think. Again, of course, that's my opinion, but I just can't see Liverpool, again, turn around and going, oh yeah, we're going to splash the cash on Calvin Phillips, of all players anyway. But just going a bit more into the news, of course, David Lynch also put this post out as well, saying, of course, on his YouTube channel as well, saying there's a possibility that these names coming out, of course, Phillips, Gravenberch, Amrabat, are a smokescreen. We've seen that before in this window, of course, obviously referring back to Kefran Turam and the likes of Gabby Veiga, of course, obviously being a smokescreen for Dominic Szoboszlai. Anyway, and of course, Neil Jones also adding to it as well, saying a name I'd urge you to look out for. Is, of course, Florentino Luis. Keep an eye on this name as well from Neil Jones. And I think, again, he's, for me personally, my replacement for Fabinho. Again, look, I think the Portuguese league, it's an outstanding league for talent. We've seen that for the last probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years, all throughout Europe. Again, you look at the Manchester City sides, you look at Liverpool in terms of, again, Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunes. There's probably more than forgetting about Fabinho himself, of course. I think first come out of the Portuguese league, I think, and then of course went to Monaco, and then the rest is history. Oh, Madrid, sorry, Monaco, and then Liverpool. And I think that's the other thing where I think when we look at it overall, I think Liverpool need to potentially take a risk or on someone again. When we talk about the number 6 role in particular, I think look, Liverpool are very much playing a gamble and letting Fabinho go. I think I think Neil Jones spoke about it, saying that again, like Fabinho was the one out of probably the 3 out midfielders, Jordan Henderson, Thiago, included in that, where it wasn't threatened, or of course nobody thought that Fabinho would be leaving Liverpool this summer, and now the core out of the midfield is now gone, and it's not even like if Liverpool had a replacement lined up. We know Liverpool didn't, in that regard as well. And for me, they do have to pull out the boat for the number 6 role, because I think out of we can speak about midfield and we can speak about how important it is. I think the number 6 role is probably the most important out of them all, in terms of how crucial it is to have that position tied down and having such high quality in that. Now we've had that for 5 years from Fabinho. And now, of course, obviously with him moving on, it's now you look on the market, there isn't much in terms of top quality, I would say. Well, without paying a massive amount of money in that regard. But I do think that there is value in the market when it comes to DMs. I know that a couple of South American players have also been linked and rumored today. Obviously, I know that one from Boca Juniors, I think back 2 weeks ago. I think we got spoken about again today, in terms of who could Liverpool get. I think, look, again, for me, I think obviously Florentino Luis would be the one. And of course, I'm going to take a look at him in a brief moment of what he could bring to Liverpool in that regard. But of course, there is that release clause there, but according to, I think, reports in Portugal, Benfica would be willing to negotiate in terms of a transfer fee. So again, you ask yourself the question of, could Liverpool, what type of deal could Liverpool do in that regard? But again, there's probably a DM out there as well that I haven't mentioned, or no one else have mentioned as well, where Liverpool have been keeping an eye on them all summer long, and Liverpool might just go, okay, Sam, we're going to pay this amount for you, and go and get him. Now, I know plenty of people will be going, oh, why don't Liverpool go and get Caicedo? Again, you're looking at 100 million for Caicedo, and Liverpool should be doing that. Liverpool should be going, okay, we haven't got really much any options here. Go and pay someone who is prem proven, who is available in that regard as well. And then there's Caicedo is there, but the problem is the leg room's done. The leg room, sorry, it has been done with Chelsea. It's been done for ages in terms of Caicedo. I think Caicedo agreed to Chelsea's terms back in March, I think it was as well. So again, that's impossible in that regard as well. And you do look, I think obviously Caicedo, Tchouaméni as well. Obviously him today, like in that post, confirming he's not for sale for Liverpool fans anyway. But you do look at that bracket and you go, whoever is down from that, it is a little bit of a step down in terms of what we expect. But of course, Liverpool know how to get the best in quality in the transfer market. We've done it so many times in the Jurgen Klopp era. It's again, I think Liverpool will find the next gem. I do genuinely believe that, and again, I believe in Jurgen Klopp. I believe whatever he thinks is right for the club. Again, if we do think that Lavia is, the next best thing, then that's fair enough. But is he the thing right here, right now? No, he's not. He's far off it. And can he be Liverpool's number 6? I don't think he can be, not for what we need right now. Anyway, but again, that's just my thoughts, guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments as well, as I have to take a drink, otherwise I'm going to be absolutely dying. Anyway, but yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts as well. And of course, this isn't a pot noodle; it is orange and mango squash as well. So just for reference, or anyone goes, "Oh, is he drinking pot noodle again?" No, I'm not drinking pot noodle. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Anyway, anyway, sorry, chat. Um, I'm dying tonight, chat. I don't know why. I'm just done. But let's get into your comments anyway, guys. Of course, let me know your guys' thoughts. Obviously, if we can get to 20 likes, of course, I'll be very much appreciated, as always. Anyway, guys. What else do we have? Trap saying Lewis comes in my opinion, and centre back Wish, I think, a surprise as well. Yeah, obviously this is a surprise, and I think that's the thing about the Fabinho stuff as well, where I, I think we're nervous and excited at the same time. I think the whole fan base is, because it's realistically the unknown for Liverpool. We haven't been like this in a very long time, where we've allowed a player to leave, and then of course Liverpool are then playing catch up. Normally Liverpool are one step ahead of the situation, but of course it was a bid that Liverpool could never turn down in terms of 40 million. Of course, if Liverpool did turn that down, then Jesus Christ, I think the fan base would be going, what on earth are we doing? Like, how much do we think Fabinho's worth? But yeah, anyway, of course, Alex is in saying Fab deal is a great because of the fee, but we have to have a solid starter replacing him. Hendo is more valuable to our squad as captain than £10 million. I agree, 1,000%. I would absolutely agree. Iraj says as well, I think these targets are all smokescreens for a player like the Szoboszlai deal. I would agree, absolutely 100%. Scouts are saying, I look at McAllister, Szoboszlai, Darwin, Diaz, and Gakpo. I don't think we're going to do something stupid. We have the character profiles and work ethics they have to meet as well. Yeah, no, it's true. Absolutely 100%. Now, it's like I said, I think for me, I think Liverpool will go after Florentino Luis. He's got everything of what you'd want from a Liverpool midfielder. and again, it's a good profile that he's got at the minute. Again, 23. I think he turns 24 this year. Okay, we'll have a look at him in a brief moment, but he's the only one now for me. Like again, Yagase would have been amazing. I think if, Liverpool paid, what was it, the 53 million release clause in the contract. I think if Liverpool went for him, I think Liverpool would have got him. But unfortunately, Liverpool, again, Liverpool didn't want to go for it in that regard. But again, Liverpool didn't expect to lose Fabinho. I think Liverpool expected to lose Jordan Henderson and Thiago at a push, maybe. But well, I don't think actually. I'll reverse my comment there. I think we expected Fabinho to expected Thiago to go. Sorry, Jordan Henderson. I think we were a bit like, if the right price comes in, and then Fabinho was like, yeah, Fabinho's not going anywhere, and then boom, have that. Thiago staying, Hendo's a bit iffy, and then Fabinho is definitely going, and Thiago staying. Sorry, as well. But what else do we have? Ray says I wouldn't mind us getting Danilo from Nottingham Forest. But Luis and Lavia are solid options as well. Yeah, absolutely. Brighton as well, saying hi. Hello, Bri. Hope you're doing well, mate. I could please scroll down. bring back James Milner. Yeah, ask Brighton for a loan. I think I joked about it earlier on, saying that maybe we should ask Real Madrid if we can loan Jude Bellingham for a year, maybe. Anyway, of course, hello, Ricky. Anyway, hopefully doing well, mate. Caicedo is going to Chelsea, though. Yeah, he is going to Chelsea. Caicedo at 80 to 100 mil is madness. It is madness, but I think Brighton's point of view is, well, if Declan Rice is going for 100 mil or 100 mil plus, why can't Caicedo go 100 mil plus? Yeah, and the one thing I would argue with that as well is Declan Rice has, the thing is with Declan Rice, there's multiple things. There's English tax, there's Prem tax, again, and plus Declan Rice has done it for more years in the Premier League. Caicedo's amazing, and he is amazing, but Caicedo's only done it for one season, as well. And again, but then also saying that Chelsea will pay £100 million for Caicedo. They're going to pay £100 million for Caicedo. I think the biggest argument at the minute for Chelsea is how they're going to do it in terms of financially, like in terms of installments, like how much are they going to pay up front, and then how much they're going to pay over the installments. I think that's the only real arguments that they're having at the minute in terms of Brighton and Chelsea. But again, Liverpool could swoop in and get it, then that'd be amazing. But of course, we know that that's not going to be the case, unfortunately, anyway. But again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know your comments, of course. Anyway, what else do we have? What's just come out? Has there been anything that comes out? No, it doesn't. Lavia is miles off replacing Fabinho. I would agree, 100%. Brighton, I think if Liverpool wanted to, they could potentially, play three, pay for two to replace Fabinho, and then you share the minutes out like that potentially. But then, even still, I don't think Lavia is that. Lavia was a very much understudy for Fabinho. Just nobody will reach Dele Alli levels from 16, 17, 22 goals that season. He could have been rated at 100 mil. So why is Caicedo? Again, Brighton. Good time for Fabinho to move on, cash in while we can, and before the relationship becomes sour as well. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's the same with Jordan Henderson though as well. Like again, I love Hendo, but it does very much feel like a very awkward situation because everyone knows what's happened. It's like it's not the fact that the Saudi clubs come in and bid in that regard, and then Hendo's gone, oh, I wouldn't mind moving, and then it work out like that. It's just gone. Of course, Hendo's gone. Yep, I'll agree to join, and then the club's just like gone. Oh yeah, we want him on a free, by the way. It's like you're never going to get him on a free transfer. As well, but I agree with David Lynch. None of those Amrabat, Phillips names players we want, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think they anything. I think the only one out of them, again, I don't think Gravenberch is 6. I think that's plain and obvious to see. If we were going to say Ryan Gravenberch, it would have been a number as an 8. Of course, I'll quickly get James Pearce's tweet back up, of course, with who he said Liverpool could get this summer anyway. But you do look at those names and you're like, Lavia, yes, we've been linked with all summer long. Amrabat, we've got linked with in January when, of course, he had the Good World Cup. And, of course, I think there was that rumour that he was available for around 20 mil back in the summer. Not back in the winter, sorry. And even then, Gravenberch, not a number 8. Not a number 6, sorry, he's a number 8. And we're playing similarly like that number 8 role that we were looking at. And Calvin Phillips, again, there's no chance in hell Liverpool are going to be looking at, even trying to entertain him from Manchester City. To begin with, he can't stay fit. He's always injured, and well, of course, that's probably a brilliant thing to get Liverpool starting 11. Anyway, but that's the problem at the minute when you do look at it and you're like, for me, I just find it laughable in that regard as well. Where they do say these names and then this, that, and the other. Like I genuinely do look at it and I'm like you do realize you're writing this, right? You're a journalist and you're writing this at times, and it's not just, of course, James Pierce. It's already as well. It's everyone. It's like you look at the names that has been spoken, and I'm like, again, yeah, there's surely Liverpool. I've said and mentioned them, but realistically, Liverpool would never ever go anywhere near these players. Sander Berg, anyone? No, absolutely not, Bry. I think he is available, man, for like, what was it, 10 mil, 20 mil? Be very surprised if Liverpool did go after him anyway, to be fair. But in terms of, and again, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, of course, and let me know who you think would well, first of all, let me know, do you think 40 mils is a very, very good deal for Fabinho? And who do you think could replace Fabinho as well? Of course, if you had the open choice, without saying, of course, Caicedo was very unrealistic, and Tchouaméni, who could replace Florentino Luis, could replace Fabinho. Anyway, of course, for me, like I said, I think Florentino Luis is the guy for me, personally. I'm going to quickly get up his stats. Well, not his stats, but of course, looking at who scored.com. Of course, again, I know a couple of people wouldn't recognize, his game in that regard as well. So I'm going to quickly get him up on who scores so everyone can take a look at him. Of course, I can get this freaking photo off. That'd be marvelous, Connor, if we could do that. There we go. Anyway, but make that full screen for you guys. Of course, obviously last season, as you can see down below, of course, played 35 times last season, over 2,100 minutes. Of course, in that regards, of course, again, 3 assists, obviously 5 yellow cards and no red cards, which is good in that sense. As well, but if we quickly scroll down anyway, of course, again, you look at what his strengths are. Of course, no known weaknesses, which is very, very good in that regard, of course. But again, you look at the playing style and you look at his strengths. Again, tackling, ball interceptions, very strong, passing, strong. Of course, Florentino style play, likes to play short passes, likes to tackle, which of course that's what we need in that regards. But I think it is also a big question. I can see someone in the chat mention it now. Obviously, let me quickly get that down for you guys and quickly get the comment up of what Rex just said. Anyway, has that gone off? No, it hasn't. There we go. But see, Rex is Florentino Luis on the market for like 25 mil or something. Something else. I think that's something else. It's a no-brainer. Also, it's a no-brainer as well. Yeah, no. The big problem with it is he has that release clause. So he has a £105 million release clause, I think, as of right now, from what I know, anyway. But there were reports in Portugal, I think, about 2 weeks ago, saying that he could be available for somewhere around 30 million euros, which, of course, if that is the case, then I think Liverpool will be absolutely all over that in that regard. Because again, Liverpool won't be drawn out, I don't think, like the Lavia stuff has been. Like we've seen Lavia be, well and truly been stretched over the. That's not a bit mad when I said that. But the saga's been stretched out of proportion. Sorry, for the whole entire window. In terms of, again, Liverpool being interested, Liverpool links, Liverpool monitoring, blah 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 blah. It's been it the entire summer so far. And to the point, I do think a little bit. I said it on Twitter. Are we at the point now where Lavia has been a smokescreen for somebody? Because there's been so many times where you've got Fabrizio Romano tweeting that he's high on Liverpool's list. Liverpool not making a move just yet. Liverpool waiting, and you're like, why are we waiting? We haven't even agreed personal terms with him yet. So if he's that high on the list, why are we agreeing personal terms just yet? And I think Liverpool have slowly been waiting for somebody to be on the market or for somebody to something to happen. But again, obviously, it does beg the question once again if first of all, is Florentino Luis available? I think yes, he is. But again, Benfica know Liverpool are after now a number six. We're actively looking for a number six. So it will then come down to the question of, again, what do Liverpool do in that regard? Do we play our cards quite close to our chest, or do we go okay, there's 40 million pounds Florentino Luis in that regard? Again, we don't know what Liverpool will do, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Anyway, of course, there's 20 people in, guys. Again, of course, I don't think we're on. Is it 10 likes we're on? Again, I could be wrong. Let's have a look. What are we on tonight? Where are we on? We'll have a look in the chat once the stream uploads. There we go. We're on 16 likes, guys, so we can get to 20. Again, very much appreciated as always. Anyway, but just to quickly run back through the news. Anyway, of course, anyone's just tuning in. Of course, again, speaking on the Fabinho situation. Of course, now Liverpool have agreed a £40 million fee with with Al-lttihad, of course. Obviously, Paul Joyce tweeting out saying Fabinho left out of Liverpool squad for tour to Germany after £40 million bid from Al-lttihad. Jordan Henderson, of course, travelled. Obviously, echoed by the likes of by Neil Jones, sorry, and James Pearce. Of course, James Pearce saying that the bid came in last night. The decision was that he was going to stay at Liverpool instead of traveling out to Germany. Of course, obviously James Pearce mentioned the likes of Lavia, Amrabat, Gravenberch, and Calvin Phillips as potential options to replace Fabinho in the Liverpool squad, which of course David Lynch came out and said that all of these names could possibly be a smokescreen for Liverpool. Of course, which we've seen before in this window in particular, where we've seen the likes of Kefran Turam, Vega, Gravenberch himself as well be a smokescreen for Szoboszlai as well. And Neil Jones, of course, also added, saying a name I'd urge you to look out for. Sorry, is Florentino Luis. Keep an eye on that name as well. So again, one of the top Liverpool journalists mentioning Florentino Luis again. Like I said, I don't think Liverpool will be slowly reacting to this again. I think it'll be a very quick thing that Liverpool will be looking at in terms of finding a replacement. Of course, Jurgen will want to get them in as soon as possible and to work with them as well. Which, of course, already I said for me, Florentino Luis would be my guy to come in for Liverpool. Of course, I know a couple people will also mention Romeo Lavia as well. And look, I think people will also say, well, why can't we bring in both of them? I think Liverpool could definitely bring in the pair of them as well, which look, I think Liverpool should potentially do as well. And you also have the question, though, does Jordan Henderson go as well? Because we know now with Fabinho going, we know Jordan Henderson might be next in that regard. Of course, that deal is not done yet, or Liverpool don't know what they're doing yet in terms of that deal. So again, it does leave you in a little bit of a situation of what do you do with Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. I think, look, Fabinho, of course, is definitely gone, but with Hendo, I think it's an awkward situation to be around at the moment with of course, you've got that club. Forgotten. Atafe, is it? Or again, I don't want to butcher their names, so apologies. But you don't want to, you don't want to make things more awkward because, of course, Jordan Henderson, I think, has made things very awkward for Liverpool because, it does beg the question once again: who told them that it was a free transfer, or what could be a free transfer in that regard? But again, I just bloody hell, I'm clicking the wrong button. Sorry, chat. But I think it is also where, where Liverpool, Liverpool do have to look at it as well of, who is on the market as well. I think obviously, Florentino Luis is there for me, but again, hopefully there is a gem out there where chat. I'd love it if something could be there. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Anyway, guys, what else do we have? Cora Romano as well. Hello, Luke. Hope you're doing well, mate. I'm free if you need anyone on, lads. No worries. If not, you come on if you want, Luke. I will send the link. Again, you don't have to come on if you don't want to, mate. I know these games. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I will quickly send the link over, Luke. Anyway, let me quickly copy and paste that because I can't send it otherwise. Right, so there we go. If Twitter would like to work, it'd be 10 times faster and better. If Twitter would want to work perfectly. Right, there we go. Luke, I've sent it to you. Anyway, but yeah, no, I think just gonna quickly, have a look at as well on in terms of defensive stats, in terms of Florentino Luis as well, guys. Because for me, he is the one that I personally want Liverpool to go after as well. Like I mentioned, probably 1,000 times by now. Yeah, but before that, anyway, of course, freaking hell, that was quick. I don't like how quick that was. But of course, we have Luke from the 1892 Reds TV. Luke, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right. Yeah, it was quick. I've just been on Jamie's stream, and I've just laughed at. I've just seen something which is actually quite funny. They've released the pictures, haven't they, of Liverpool in the pre-season, and obviously they've got them on the bikes, and the guy.
Oh god, yeah, it's not Alexis McAllister, is it?
No, it's Darwin Núñez. He's got his helmet on the wrong way round.
There's always one. There's always one. But in terms of Fabinho and the 40 mil, Jesus Christ, my voice cracked that was. But in terms of Fabinho and the 40 mil, what would how are you feeling about the situation? Because I know Ricky, and I know on your channel earlier on was speaking about again he's very nervous for the Fabinho situation. I think everyone is a little bit where I think for the first time in a while it's very unknown on what Liverpool are going to do in the transfer window and moving forward as well. Certainly in a key area where we've been so solid over the last probably 5 or 6 years in terms of having Fabinho. But what's your thoughts on on the Fabinho situation and what Liverpool do next this summer?
It's scary, but it's interesting at the same time. Personally, I think Liverpool are playing a huge risk in letting Fabinho go. If you're going to replace Fabinho with potentially just one defensive midfielder in, say, Lavia or someone without a lot of experience, then I think Liverpool are playing a little bit of a dangerous game. But on the flip side, it's exciting because we've been very sentimental with a lot of these players over the last couple of seasons, and we've known this midfield overhaul was going to happen. To allow 6, 7, potentially 7 midfielders to leave in the same window is very risky. But yeah, I'm happy with the fact that he's going and we're actually getting a very good fee for it. Like we've had 6 of the best years for Fabinho and we're getting pretty much the amount that we paid for him. So I can't complain too much. And you know what? He's put everything into this football club. I put Fabinho up there on the pedestal where we always praise the likes of Mo Salah. We praise the likes of Alisson. We'll praise Van Dijk. Fabinho is one of the most underrated players we've ever had at the football club. And he definitely, in my opinion, he goes in there as one of the greatest Premier League players to play for Liverpool. In terms of like an all-time Premier League Liverpool 11, I think Fabinho is very close on that list. And I think it's quite unfair, I think, with him. He got a lot of stick last season. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it because obviously all the players did. But when you've burnt him out for the last couple of seasons and he's doing 3-4 jobs in one season, like for players that have not pulled their weight, and Fabinho's been instrumental for our football club, for our success. So yeah, I'm devastated. I'm disappointed he's leaving. It did come out of the blue that it was just happening. But you know what? At the end of the day, good times come to an end. I always agree with, and unfortunately, what we've got to remember as a fan base is, there's always the football club is always bigger than anyone else, and I know Liverpool will definitely get it right in the end. So good luck to Fabinho, obviously, for his new adventure. It's a shame he's leaving, but we've got to be positive. As I said, like we're getting 40 million back for him. We can use that money wisely, and also we're getting that money up front as well. It's not even like in a 2-year installment plan. It's pretty much there's your 40 million and run, basically. So yeah, sad to see him go, mate, but we look for brighter and better things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one of the key factors, and I forgot to mention earlier on in chat, I think obviously Nuno Espirito Santos obviously has been obviously the key factor in the Fabinho situation. Obviously, he did manage, I think, Fabinho once earlier on in his career. I think I forgot who he managed him with now, but
Have a look.
I think that obviously he has been a massive factor in trying to get Fabinho. You look at it, now they've got the likes of Kante, Fabinho, and then as well, obviously Benzema going there as well. At that side, of course, it does look like a pretty decent side as well, to be fair, considering it's the Saudi league. But it's that thing though as well though, Luke, when we talk about and you said in terms of what's next for the club. Like again, for me, I love Florentino Luis. I know plenty of people have mentioned Lavia. I know Tuchemani, of course, obviously was the dream, and Caicedo. But do you think that it would be just a one player replacement, or do you think that Liverpool could even potentially fill the void in with two players, like how we've seen teams do it beforehand? Again, I think even now, I think there's even reports of Thomas Partey going to Saudi, which means Arsenal now will go in the race for Lavia as well. But how's your feeling on that? Do you think Liverpool will make one marquee signing, or do you think they'll look at it and go, maybe we could potentially share out the position in two players?
I think Arsenal are doing exactly what we need to do. They obviously let Granit Xhaka go. They're potentially allowing Thomas Partey to go. They've brought in Declan Rice, which was the less kept secret in football. I think we all knew Declan Rice was moving to Arsenal. And if they do bring in Romeo Lavia, I think it's excellent business from Arsenal. Liverpool can't bring in just Romeo Lavia and give him that position. Right, you're the new Fabinho. I mean, you've got no Henderson around you if he leaves. Fabinho's gone. Milner's gone. Potentially Thiago could be gone as well. There's 4 real massive key components in this Liverpool team over the last couple of years. Big leaders, big voices around the changing room. You need someone there. You need. I would have liked to have brought Lavia in, but only if Fabinho would have stayed. Yeah. I don't think Lavia is going to be coming in on his own. Hopefully, I think Liverpool will potentially maybe bringing in 2 midfielders, but who's the other midfielder? We'll have to wait and see. I did see the team that he was at. Was it Rio Ave or Rio Ave? I think they're pronounced. Yeah, that's the team that they were together. But I think Liverpool play a risky game if they do just bring in Lavia and don't bring in anyone else. I think that would be a real disappointment.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you do look at it and you're like, it does leave you a bit nervous when I do look at it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like it looked so promising, and then it went all to crap within a couple of days. Anyway, but chat, let us know your guys' thoughts, of course, on the Fabinho situation, of course. But if Keller goes on what replacements, I don't think he's going to go anywhere now this summer.
Wolves are interested, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't see Wolves paying 20 million for Kelleher. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
With that as well. But to be fair, they do have cash, so again.
And they got a decent fee for Ruben Neves as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, how much did they buy for him? 47 mil, was it?
Yeah, I think they pretty much sort of broke even to an extent, or maybe they might have lost, but they've had some great value with Ruben Neves at the football club. So
that's true. Jackson as well as the firm as well. I know you and Luke was on Jamie's channel just now, anyway, of course. But just on who you'd want for the six. Is there a name out there that you would want as a preferred choice in your opinion, or do you think that it is plain and obvious to see who could Liverpool get in this window?
I think we go all out for Lavia, but the dream signing for me in that position would be Tchouaméni. I'd love to see Tchouaméni at Real Madrid, Liverpool, sorry, from Real Madrid. I think Liverpool probably will do something that we don't know about. Will they go back in for Kepa and Thuram? I think I said to you last week they won't, but they might. Who knows? If Liverpool really sort of went away from their model, just going sort of out the block, I'd like to see someone like Al-lttihad at Liverpool as well. I mean, the only downside to it is obviously the model that Liverpool play. They don't like
old players.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, what's he, 28 now? I mean, he's got 4 years left in his contract. And then, the ultimate dream, if anything, mate, and I know it's obviously something that you would probably agree with, is bringing back good old Jay Spearing in the six, to be quite honest with you. Jay Spearing would be an absolute dream and an honour to see back in a Liverpool shirt.
What is it? Ask if we let Hendo go to Saudi, and then we'll ask Jared back on loan.
Yeah,
playing the six, Stevie, for a season.
All jokes aside, do you know what the worst thing is yet? How have Liverpool gone through the market for the Saudi clubs, and they've found the cheapest Saudi club who can't afford like 15 million or whatever to pay for Jordan Henderson?
The thing I don't get, I think Ricky mentioned it on your show, is who thought that they could get Jordan Henderson for free? I look at it and I'm like, does that come from Hendo's camp? Does it come from the club giving a bit of confidence that, oh yeah, you could potentially get him on a free?
Unless
don't know.
who gave you the audacity to sort of see if you can get him on a free? But the only thing is I don't think there is anything within his contract that sort of states
there was a 15 million buyout that someone was going on about, I think last week, and it was like, I don't think that's true.
Hopefully we can persuade Al-lttihad, who Fabinho is going to. Maybe we can persuade him. Have you got an extra 15 million, guys? You can.
No, if you've got an extra 30 mil, it's like you can get the Fabinho downgrade.
What about if they buy him and then send him out on loan to Al-lttihad? We'll get the money at least.
I think that would be a bit. I think that's probably Chelsea 101. I think that is too fair. Anyway, but I do think it is. Again, I do think Liverpool are going to just pull something out of the hat, as we always do. And I do wish that it is something where Liverpool do something brilliant again, where we all look at it and go, in about 2-3 years time, and go, Jesus Christ, how on earth did we manage to get that player? Yeah. And I wish it is something like that again. But then when I do look at the options and I do look at the market, it's like, who on earth is that player? I do generally look at it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Liverpool do.
For me, if we had the money and we had the cash and we had the dream of it and we'd do it, I'd like to see Tchouaméni, but it's difficult. And I agree with you. Liverpool could just pull something out of the bag.
I think I said it to you. I think I'd love it if we went in for Real Madrid and went, can we get Jude Bellingham on loan for a year so we can at least think we call him? Just pretty please. If you want, you can have him, but give us him just for a season, and then
in the end they'd probably give us Hazard on loan, probably.
Jesus Christ. Is he still on a free or is he retired?
Nah, they terminated his contract, didn't they? Yusuf was crying.
To be fair, friggin'. It wouldn't surprise me if he went back to Chelsea in that regard anyway. But
don't tell Yusuf that, mate.
Crying for days. But Abid did say Lorente from Atletico. Again.
No, I don't want him. And the only reason why I don't want him, he was the one that scored that goal against us and knocked us out of the chat. Yeah, no, I don't want him. I know it sounds very sort of selfish and whatever. Yeah, he's a rat, literally. Good player. I don't mind him, but I don't know if he'll fit Liverpool, in all honesty.
Yeah, true. What I worried about is whether these DMs are physical and strong enough. We are desperate for players like Rodri from Man City, in my opinion, as well. Yeah, no, absolutely true. Again, I think that the number 6 in the midfield is probably the most vital party midfield. And again, can Liverpool get it right again? I think obviously it's a big question. Again, for me, I'd love Florentino Luis. I think he would be that for Liverpool. I think he's the correct profile as well. What Liverpool would look for. But again, also saying that as well. What do I know? That's all I know is
You know a lot.
I don't say for it. No, don't dare that. Obviously, Jack.
That's surely Jack when I spoke to him about Spearing.
I hate you too. When you've gone with Jay Spearing, it's like no.
I'll tell you what. You can clip this if you want. If we get Chouameni this summer, only this summer, I will buy a Liverpool shirt with Jay Spearing on the back.
No, that's gotta be a bet like forever.
No, I'll do it. I will do it. If we get Chouameni, I'll get number 6 and Spearing on the back.
Can we just do it anyway?
Yeah, we'll have to chip in for that.
Yeah,
why don't we ask Al-lttihad and see if they can chip in?
No, just expecting a friggin' free again.
Give us a loan.
Yeah, it's like, can we loan the shit just for the photos and then we give it back? Then? Yeah, just like literally go around Anfield. Like, does anyone want a Jay Spearing shirt? Like, Jesus Christ.
What's this on the back? Paulson. Oh no.
Imagine like 10 years ago, like just like going, oh yeah, I really want a Paulson shirt, and just looking at it now and like, what on earth was I thinking back in the day?
We have had some shite, haven't we? Like Paulson and Aquilani.
And the rest.
Yeah, when we signed Alberto Aquilani, me and Rick were like, wow, what a player. We've got a great player on our hands. And then, comment after that.
I was gutted with, I remember like everyone goes like, oh, Fernando Torres was the first person that, when you were growing up, you got, upset about. It was like, no, Xabi Alonso was the first one for me. I was so gutted. And then, it just, we replaced him with an Italian Weetabix, which wasn't great at all, was it, chat? Either anyway. But what else do we have? Tom Zins well saying Liverpool profit is 22.25 with 150, 200 games. Cook Miners, I reckon, as well. Obviously, it's another one on the list.
Yeah, he's another one, isn't he? Like he doesn't really get sort of full respect for what he's done with Atalanta. There's a couple of, obviously they've got a very good attacking side, and but Coop Miners, I think he's be a good option. I think if Liverpool were interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Is my mic low? Probably is.
I think mine might be slightly higher than yours. I'm not sure. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a dodgy earphone mic. Obviously, Luke's got a better one. So the only way I can
when it works.
When it works, or whether or not if the hamster is running around. So
I forgot to feed him earlier.
Yeah, but it was terrible earlier on, guys. All right, Jack, I'm good. Thanks as well. Guys, in 3 players, Kone, Thuram, and Paulinho. This might happen as well. I just think Paulinho costs too much money. Like, I think, didn't Fulham say to Villa that he was worth 80 million? Like earlier on the window.
He's had a brilliant season, hasn't he? Like, I'm not being funny that he's got 4 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
Fulham are gonna literally turn around and say to every club, like, this is how much you're gonna have to pay for him. And they know as well of his age, he'll be in sort of the prime of his career. Yeah, that's a good one as well. Trying to wait for sign Gareth Barry.
The Brexit Xabi Alonso.
Do you know? This is obviously just away from Liverpool, but there's only one thing I remember with Gareth Barry, and it does me in all the time. Do you remember England played Germany back in 2010 in the World Cup where they won 4-1? Now, Gareth Barry at that point, I think, was linked with a lot of clubs. He went to City, but the one that done it for me was England had a corner, and then like on the halfway line where you leave like a player on the halfway line, like a 2v1 or something like that.
Vertical ass level.
We had a corner. Obviously, England are 2-1 down. We got a corner, and on the halfway line was Gareth Barry against a very young Mesut Ozil, and then you had Lucas Podolski, and then a few other players they left forward, and it's like you've just left your slowest player on the halfway line. If we get it's like pro clubs, isn't it? Like if you get on the counter attack and you've left the defense, like that was Gareth Barry for me, and I liked him. But then when I saw that, I just thought to myself, I don't want him anywhere near Liverpool. He done well at Man City, of course he did, but like I just didn't want him anywhere near Liverpool. I just thought he was too slow for me. I
always looked at it and it was like always at Villa as well. It was always James Milner who was better as well. For me anyway, it was James Milner was better. And obviously, I think did both of them go at the same time to City, or did Barry go just before?
I think Barry was there just. I think he was there just after.
Was it just after?
I think so. I think Milner was there. Milner. I mean, no, you might be right. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, to be fair, but
Let me have a look.
I again look at it though, and I'm like Liverpool should have got James Milner a lot sooner than what we did. Like I think even if we went from like 2 seasons beforehand, I think that would have helped us massively. Thompson Christian Norgard at Brentford could be a viable option. Yeah, it could absolutely be a viable option.
You are right. Gareth Barry went a year before 2009.
Yeah. Well, again though, it's like you do look at it and you're like, how much did they buy both of them for? Was it like 20 mil?
Yeah, I think it was roughly around that sort of fee.
Ridiculous. Do you remember, guys, when transfer fees actually used to be pretty decent and now they're absolutely ridiculous?
Well, I think around that sort of time we signed Jordan Henderson for 20 million. And
yeah,
back in 2010.
World class signing.
But 2 million a year.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I didn't even start with that. But it's like you do look at it though, and you're like, if Liverpool, of course, we got money back got the same money back from Fabinho, but if we got 20 million for Jordan Henderson as well, we all said that Liverpool have done pretty bad business in recent years in terms of trying to get rid of players. But to get 60 million for, I wouldn't say deadwood because they're not deadwood; they're very much a part of the squad. But for 2 players, where probably we would have lost both of them on a free. I think if it was down for as we saw it anyway, I think it'd be cracking business overall. But I just do think again though, if we was to let the 2 of them go, we'd have to bring in 2 minimum, let alone even 3.
We could potentially be losing 7 midfielders this summer.
That's ridiculous.
They think Cater, Ox, Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago. So actually no, 6, but still 6 midfielders.
Yeah, we brought in 2 so far. It's like, somewhere in Europa League doesn't really matter. We'll just play the kids, the Europa League. But I just do look at it again though, because I do think Liverpool are leaving themselves a little bit. Obviously, Jack has a good shot in terms of Jack Rodwell as well. Absolute gem.
Did he? What's that record he had at Sunderland? He never won a game or something like that.
Yeah, was it like 100? No, surely it wasn't 100 games and he lost. Surely.
Yeah.
Am I thinking of that wrong, or am I thinking that right?
I'm sure that was Jack Rodwell.
Chat. Let us know. I swear it's like 100 games or something.
Yeah, it was at Sunderland or something like that when he never won a game or something like that, and he got relegated with him as well.
Was the Premier League records? I think that he's.
I think he won games at City, but obviously at City he barely played. But I'm sure when he went to Sunderland, it was a record. I think he lost about so many games in a row.
Jesus Christ,
it's like the old, what's his name? In WWE, what's his name? Kurt Hawkins. Like the losing streak.
What is there? Freaking like finally Jack Rodwell scores and goes again. So
wins the title.
God's sake. Would be decent as well. Says Jack Rodwell would be decent.
I was right with 7.
Don't forget Fabio Carvalho as well. Yeah, Fab. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but to be fair, he's coming back. We know that at least for next season potentially.
It's all right, mate. Connor, it's all right, mate. We've got Curtisinho, Jonesinho going in midfield.
Sounds like my Pro Clubs character. That does.
Pink hair.
Gumboinho would be very proud. In that regard. Only 30. Is he really only 32?
Take him.
Absolutely.
Fits our profile.
What is it? Fucking, you got Rodwell, Spearing, and who's the next midfielder?
Bring back Milner. Bring back Adam Lallana or something like that.
Jesus Christ. An absolutely wonderful midfield.
Paulson.
Wonderful midfield. Anyway, but before we do head off, chat, of course, we'll quickly run through the news again. Anyway, for you guys, of course, obviously, if you guys are just tuning in, obviously Fabinho going to Paul Joyce, left out of Liverpool's squad, obviously tour of Germany after £40 million bid from Al-lttihad. I think it is. Again, apology for butchering their name.
Al-lttihad.
Etihad, sorry. I'm just going to call them Saudi Club. There we go. I think that's better. Neil
One of the Saudi clubs with money.
Yeah, it's like we've actually got a Saudi club that actually wants to pay money. Like, Jesus, can anyone think about that? Anyway, but of course, obviously echoed by Neil Jones and James Pearce as well. Obviously, James Pearce adding replace. Actually, to be fair, I haven't really asked you about that, which I'm going to do now in a minute. Of course, obviously adding names. Of course, Lavia, Amrabat, Gravenberch, and Calvin Phillips. Obviously, David Lynch saying that this all could be a smokescreen for for those players, and Neil Jones also adding to keep an eye on Florentino Luis this summer as well for Liverpool. But I want to quickly ask you, Luke, before we do head off, Calvin Phillips.
No.
Like, I looked at it and I looked at the contract, and it's like he's got a contract until 2028. Like, I don't get how he got linked. Like,
I personally think he's so overrated.
yeah,
I really do, and purely and simply because he's English.
yeah.
He fitted well in Southgate's system for England. He had a decent Euros. I think Declan Rice was mainly the reason why he played a lot better. And even people like Henderson around in the changing room as well, giving him that confidence, that bit of experience around. I don't want Calvin Phillips anywhere near Liverpool, in my opinion. Even if Man City do offer us money to take him, I don't want Calvin Phillips anywhere near the football club for me.
No, same. I'd agree. I think the only one out of that list is Lavia. I think personally, like, again, Gravenberch, Nor number 6, Amrabat. I would have taken him 6 months ago because, of course, that rumored price tag that was around, like, I think 20 million or 15 million.
Can I just ask, just out of curiosity? So I was talking to Ricky earlier about Amrabat.
Oh,
He was saying about the one from Watford. Is it his brother or something like that?
Oh, guys, he hasn't done.
I don't know. Like Rick was
He's
like,
done the same mistake.
yeah, Rick was like, Amrabat, like, is that? And I was like, but I swear it wasn't. I swear
Yeah.
it was similar, but like it wasn't actually Amrabat. Was it
No, it's Amrabat, but
Oh, was it?
They're brothers.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't.
I think they're brothers. Anyway, I think I'm right on that.
Because Rick turned around and said he was like, I don't want someone that plays for Watford.
Jesus Christ! Like, was it Angry Ginge that made the same comment on United? Was it the United stand? He made it on like, I don't want someone from Watford. It's like it's the wrong freaking Amrabat. God's sake. But yeah, no. You do look at it though, and it's like, if the rumors are true that I think he apparently agreed personal terms with Juventus back in January, then agreed personal terms with Barcelona this summer, and then Barcelona were like, oh yeah, we can't afford it because Florentino want about 30-40 million for you, which we can't do at the present moment in time. And it's like, well, eventually he's going to agree personal terms and get it moved. But I don't think that'll be Liverpool, to be fair anyway. But Amrabat, I take 25 million. Lavia, I take as well.
No.
Yeah, no, looking at Amrabat is.
Cheers, Revenant.
Yeah. To be fair, easy mistake. But yeah, no, he didn't play for Watford anyway. But no, I've seen plenty of people make that mistake where they're like, oh yeah, did he play for Watford? And it's like, again, Watford have signed so many players, got so many managers over the last 6-7 years. Like, it wouldn't be unexpected, I don't think. Anyway, but guys, obviously, big thank you to all of you guys as well for tuning in for tonight's show. Of course, big massive thank you to Luke as well for popping on for the back end of the show. And of course, obviously, guys, go over and subscribe to 1892 Reds TV. Of course, obviously, live early on, big stream early on as well.
Yeah, it was good.
Absolutely massive. So obviously go and check out the guys as well. Obviously, if you haven't yet, hit that like button before you do head off anyway. Anyway, shout. Of course, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button as well. Of course, we should probably hear official confirmation probably tomorrow from Liverpool. Of course, right now it is just, again, obviously with, of course, Fabinho being left, it pretty much does agree. Mean that it has been agreed in that sense. It is now just officially to all be confirmed, and of course medical and so on. Of course, obviously Liverpool could injure him before he goes off to Saudi. So you're not going anywhere for being here now, of course. Anyway, but yeah, when it is officially confirmed, we will bring it straight to you guys, of course. Or if there is anything else, we will bring it to you guys anyway. But until next time, guys, that's gonna be it from us. I've been Connor from the Cup Council. See you all later on. Ta-ra.